I need to know something that can help save a life.
So today we're going to speak to Associate Degree Nursing student Aseh Constance. We're going to talk to Aseh about why she decided to join the Associate Degree Nursing program, as well as the support that she's received through the Seroptimist organization, both at the local and regional level. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Aseh, and I'm a Cameroonian
Okay.
who came to the US in 2016, to live and work through the visa lottery. So I moved in here with my family, my husband and my son in 2016. That's how I came in here. And then sometime in 2017, my husband passed. But before he passed, I had a little daughter of 3 months before he passed. So now I'm just by myself with my 2 kids. My son is now 10 and my daughter is 5. So I've been working for a while in the food service here in Houston. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing for over 5 years right now.
And that's tough work. I mean, I'd imagine being a single mother day in and day out.
Yeah.
Like that. How did you come to enrolling in the nursing program, and kind of why did you decide to go that way?
My very first thing is that, like I told you, my husband passed. So he just sat on the chair, like we're talking like this. I was talking with him. Then suddenly he took off. He's like, So I'm like, if only I could know what was going on. I could even do something to even save his life. If I even knew CPR, if I even knew all of what I've learned right now, because then I knew nothing.
You felt helpless.
Yes, I felt helpless. That's the right word. I was helpless because he just sat down. We were talking. It was fine. It's not like somebody that has been sick. He had never been sick before. He was always fine. Then he just comes back from work, sits there, and we're talking, smiling, and then he just goes off. My son was sitting there. I was in the bathroom doing some laundry. It was in an apartment. My little daughter he was actually carrying my little daughter on his hand when he passed out. So I was like, when that incident happened, I was like, if I just knew just something that could save a life, I could have if I even knew what was going on. I didn't even know what was going on. So I'm like, I need to know something that can help save a life. Aside being the mom of my children, aside being a sister, a friend, I want to be able to save lives. When I watched my husband pass, I just see how one knowledge can save somebody's life. It means a lot, like knowing something, the knowledge you have can. Because I was like, if I knew everything I know right now, I would have known what to do. I would have known the response to take, but I was helpless because I didn't know. That could be, my neighbor. That could be somebody I can meet anywhere. That could be a life right now. So I want to be able to, I told myself, I want to be able to be a nurse, to learn the knowledge I need to better take care of my family and people in my community. Right now, I'm in the Houston area. I want to be able to offer that assistance because I know what it means, like holistic care. I'm so passionate about holistic care, not just being able to take care of the children, wash their clothes, nurture them, give them food, help them with their assignments. I want to be able to provide holistic care, knowing how to be able to help in every area of their lives. And that for me was a point where I was like, you know what, I need to go get this knowledge.
Here you are, you're young, you have 2 children, you're taking care of them by yourself. I mean, how did that, with your husband passing, how did that impact your life as far as just day-to-day stuff? I mean,
I think that is something that I have to share. But I think that if I share, it's going to help somebody, some other person who might be going through the same thing. Because when my husband passed, I told you we just came here 1 year. So from Africa, I didn't know how to drive. I was not working yet because I had some complications with my pregnancy. So I wasn't working yet. So he was the one that was basically working. So when he passed, 2 weeks after they gave me a quit notice because I didn't really I couldn't pay the bills. That was it. So it was like my life was going down. And then I just gave birth to my daughter. A few days after I gave birth to my daughter, a few days I had to go back to the hospital because I was feeling some sharp pain. And then when I went back to the hospital, I had some little complications. That is like my blood pressure was a little bit high. But I'm like, okay, I just left here a few days, and then why is it that after I've gone back to the house, then I'm having these issues? So all of that, I was going through my own depression after I gave birth. Then my husband passed. Then I received a quit notice to leave the house. Mind you, my family's in Africa. Everybody, which
there's nobody here,
nobody.
Can turn to.
Thank God that when I came, because I'm a Christian, I have a family. My church family is here. My pastor. That's how members of the community came, and they supported me to go bury my husband back in Africa. He's the one that this all happened in Dallas. So my pastor is a person that really was there for me. But what am I saying? I was like, my life is shattered. It's like I can't drive. I can't do nothing. When you're living in Africa, coming here, you have all these dreams. Oh, I'm going to the land of milk and honey. I was hoping that I already began looking at my options. Okay, when I give birth and my daughter is a little bit bigger, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to work. After I work, I'm going to go back to school because I've always liked to go to school. Education is my thing. I just like going to school. For me, that's my highest empowerment because growing up, I'm from a community from a sub-community where all they knew was to work farm, agriculture, and we plant farm. It's not really like here, but we do like subsistence agriculture where we just work and eat. So I was like, I'm not going to remain in the farm. I'm not going to remain in the house. It's not like I'll not be in the house. I'll be a good housewife, but I'll not only remain in the house. I want to be able to contribute more than just staying back at home. So I was like, okay, I want to be the outgoing type. So I'll go to school, and I saw education like my way out. That was the only thing, because back in Africa, women don't really have a voice. Like where I come from, everything goes to the men. All the money, all the house resources, everything goes to the men. So the women are like, okay, you go and get married and you stay there. So what you are good for is only to be a mother, take care, give birth to children and raise them up. But I knew that empowering myself is going to make me better. So I've always wanted to okay, let me go back to school, let me get more knowledge so that I can be able to, all along I have that dream, I want to be able to learn more and make a difference in my society. In the land flowing with milk and honey, I was on a tight corner. It's like everything is crumbling. My life is crumbling, my health is crumbling, everything about me is crumbling. That's basically where I was. But somehow, because I put my trust in Jesus, God helped me out. Because basically I was lost.
Right.
I have no hope. What is it going to look like for me? Even after this dream of, I want to be able to learn to save lives. But what's the way forward? I have nobody I can turn to. I have no one I can talk to. It was so blurry.
So how did you find your way out of that? I mean, how did you go from being in that place, which is a very dark place, something you would never want to wish on anybody else?
No.
And so how do you go from that? How do you pull yourself out? And how did you find education in that sort of journey?
After about 1 year that my husband passed, I had to start doing something. But I began working in the warehouse, and I will say it because for me it's an inspiration. I was working in the warehouse. I was lifting things, pulling out truck. I was, but I was like, this is not me, because I know who I am. I'm like, God, this is not my dream. So this is how it started. So when I went to the warehouse, They began telling us, oh, if you stay here, we're going to take you give you scholarship to go to school. That's what they were saying. Or if you stay here for 3 or is it 1 year, then you'll be able to okay, so okay, so there's possibility to go to school. That's how I began looking it up myself. What are my options? Like I started asking myself, okay, so what are my options? So how can I achieve this, my dream of being able to equip myself with so much skills that can be able to render holistic care to my family and to my community? I began to research. Most of the things I find out is I take my laptop and I sit down and I start to find out.
Just start looking.
Start researching. How can I do this? Then I'll study it. How can I do this? That is how I began, moving myself from the dark place to where I am right now. Is it challenging? Yes. Like here, all these things, biology is not something that I've been to before because all my family, we are into business studies, accounting.
Oh, okay.
Business.
So not
math.
a lot of medical background.
Yes, we don't have a medical background. Like I told you, I began to do the research, do all the research. That's how I found myself from the dark place to college. When I entered college, it was tough because that is starting afresh with 2 children on your hand. You have to take care of them. You have to go for the appointments. I couldn't drive. It was a lot. Like, I don't want to go into those details. It was a lot. The memories are just a lot.
I can only imagine.
Yes. Because I couldn't drive. How do I go for appointments? I had to be calling people left and right. So it was a dark place for me. But when I decided that, okay, you see now, it's a dark place. But if you go through this is a path, right? When you interact with people in the community, they'll start telling you, oh, this is a pathway to success. You can do like this. Okay, you can go to school like this. You can take this way. So when I went to college, I went to the Houston Community College. I'm like, okay, so how do I do it? That's where I learned education is 300. That's the very first course that changed my mind. Like, you can be anything. That was my best course. That was one of the best courses that I said changed my mind. They said you can be anything that you value. Because before I was like, no, I can't do this. No, I can't do. But something said, education, there is a way out through education. I know it's not easy. I know you have never been through that route before, but you can do it. If you apply right time management, if you do the right things, you can be able to do it. Is it difficult? It has been challenging, like closing from work, dropping the kids. How will I drop the kids? How will I pick up the kids? It's like starting something afresh. But I'm like, if it's to save a life, it's worth it. What am I living for if I cannot save a life? You don't know what a loss is until you lose somebody that is dear. When you see people mourning, you can feel sympathy. But when you experience a loss, the way you see life is different.
So then you enrolled here at for the associate degree in nursing, or no?
Why do I choose Irving Community College? Because when I finished my associates, I had a very good GPA. My GPA was 3.9 something. So I had a good GPA. I could go to anywhere. What come to Irving is because the very first, I've applied everywhere and I had different admissions. But when I came to Irving, the very first day Dr. Fontnot spoke to us, I told myself, I'm going to say it someday. She was so welcoming. She was so like, you can do this. She was so fair. She was so professional. She was so, you can make this place home. That is what brought me to Irving, because I felt home here. It's as if you are all welcome. Okay. And then when I also spoke to Michelle, the secretary, whenever you send her mail, she responds right then. I'm like, I'm really going through a lot, like managing children by myself. This is a place that I find like home for me, for the school. That's why I'm coming to Irving Community College.
So how, now you have one more year left?
Yeah,
or?
I have a few Yes, almost a year left. I'm graduating in December.
Okay. So what do you feel like you want to do when you finish?
About what I want to do when I finish, I'm thinking about doing CVICU
Mm-hmm.
because, it's like saving life it matches with my skills and talents. I find it good when I'm doing analyzing things and then solving critical issues. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at doing.
Okay. Now you got recently some support from the Seroptimist International of Alvin, and I know like you also got scholarships. So can you tell me a little bit more about that, like kind of how that's helped you?
The scholarships I got from Seroptimal Live Your Dream, Seroptomist Live Your Dream Award. Like a nursing student, I'm not working that much, so I depend on what the support I get from the school. That's how I get to pay my bills.
Mm-hmm.
So the support I get from Seroptimist, it helps me to be able to pay my bills, some of the credit cards I have. That way I can be able to place more time to study and then take care of my children. Because like today, when I get home right now, I sit down with my children. I have to do their homework before I finish doing their homework.
So you do your own homework and then their homework?
Yes. So I start helping them doing their homework. That's the life of a single mom. Because I must be there for them. I tell them, you sit here, I'm on the table. I tell them, sit here, sit here. I say, you watch me. This is how I succeed. I tell them, I want to be a model for you. I want people to see how I succeed. So I sit down there. I tell them, you see what I do. I'm off social media. I'm off when I'm studying. So you sit there. You're doing your own work while I sit there. I'm doing my own work. If you need help, I help you. I'm doing my own work. And, so I have to do all of that. So doing all of that and then working again is not, and then studying to be able to meet up to the standards of nursing school is not really like feasible if you have to study if you have to work those long hours.
Right.
So it helps me like, okay, because of this hour, I can be able to cut down on my hours of work. So I can be able to put more into studying the material. Because for me, the most important thing is getting to know the skills, know what I need to know. For me, that's the most important thing. That's why when I study beyond the test. I'm like, I want to know what's going on and how can I be able to make a difference alongside passing the test.
Okay.
And that requires much time.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, thank you for coming to talk to me today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. To read about these stories and more, visit alvincollege.edu.